just just came in from church, and I want to share this little word with somebody. It was so potent, so potent. I want to share a little word. You know, sometimes when the word resonates in my spirit, I am somehow just compelled to share it, because I know other people are going through various things, and I never believe that the word sometimes I receive from anywhere is only for me only. You know what I mean? And so there are some questions that I've been asking, you know, myself of late. Not negative questions, just, you know, every now and again, sometimes you ask yourself some questions, especially if you're goal-oriented and, you know, focus on just trying to get your life, you know, together. I went to church today. Not an unusual thing. So let me just put that out there. I go to church. All right. So and I'm not just going to church, you know, I have fully committed to, you know, just serving God and just aligning my life and my goals into the will that He wants me to go. So let me just put that disclaimer out there. So while I was, you know, the message today in particular was a very good message, you know, really nice. But you know, one thing that stuck with me, whatever work that God has started in me, He will finish. What am I saying? There has been so many setbacks, so many disappointments, and so many things that has come against my very existence, my very destiny, my very purpose. And you know, I've done a lot of videos talking about it. It's a great setup and everything, and you know, sometimes you have to be strengthened in the direction that you want it to go. And the very same thing that I'm very strong in, which is talking about resilience, talking about bouncing back, is the very same thing that challenged me to the core. And I realize I have come to understand that the very same thing that you are strong now in really was the process of building. You actually went through the very same journey to get to that strength, our strengthening point now. And it's amazing. But it said in the message that I heard today in church, whatever work God started, He will finish. And so if I was a little bit concerned and I asked myself some questions, the truth is, I'm now comforted in understanding that whatever the design is, wherever the journey takes me, it will be a part of the whole great thing that God has designed. So I might not understand it now. I might not get it. But at the end of the day, whatever work He started, if He started a work in preparing me to speak to person, to inspire person, to share story, to talk about things that I have been through, so that other person can you know, relate and feel like they're not alone out there, then that is the work that He has started, and He will indeed finish it. Because today I got some information that I really got a very great donation, and I'm gonna say huge donation, but I got a great donation for Broken Wings Foundation. And I was so overwhelmed about it. Can I tell you? Because this foundation really just started 2018. And it started out of my need to connect to other persons who were going through. And in that connection, I found that, you know, several small things that I needed assistance with, or something, you know, to assist me with. I realized that it's not there. But let me tell you something. Make no mistake about it. The work that you carry and the work that comes with just your assignment, it's a great work. It's a great burden in a way that you just have to understand what it is. It is a lot. If you're not prepared for the journey, if you're not prepared for what road it will take, then that's something that you have to work through. But once you have some assignment in terms of helping people, sometimes I'm not even aware sometimes when I am mentally exhausted, if you know what I mean, because I'm so concerned with helping others, that sometimes I realize that I also need to self-care and help myself as well, and I'm learning to do that. But the word that today that just came and I wanted to share with you is just whatever work that God has started in you, he will finish. What does that mean? It means that don't be concerned that there's a delay. Of course, you speak against the spirit of delay. Of course, you speak, that God's will is in alignment with yours. But the truth is, whatever work God has started, he's going to finish. I remember the first time I went in front of persons to speak. And, I didn't even know that I had the authority to speak on those things. Hi, Michael. The first time I remember I was very nervous, and every time, let me tell you, every time I'm about to speak to person, every time I go on a platform, I'm grateful that I get the opportunity to, but I'm also nervous. I'm always nervous because of course you want the message to resonate. You want bless up. You want the message to reach the persons that it wants to reach. I want to share this with somebody. I mean, people are on a low sometimes. People are on, they're demotivated. They don't have another person in their ear to give them encouragement. We can't reach everyone because of course, we hope that some of the videos will go viral. We hope that, and when I say we as a community of positive people, we hope that, somewhere along the line we can reach a lot of persons through our messages and through the messages that each of us resonate in our own way. Some of you do various things in your own way. But there are times when you wonder if it is enough. Because, service, service to people is a lot of work. Let me tell you, service to people is a lot of work. And I remember, I just had this conversation with my children the other day. And my son said to me that, I remember you used to do the prison run as well. I said, what do you mean? Him said, yes, you remember you used to go and visit women in prison as well, and you used to do the little care packages for them and the hospital runs and people who are not getting visits. You used to do cards out of your own pocket and drop off to the hospital. Now I don't remember all of that because honestly it's the move and the season. Sometimes there's a season for me to do something and I'm so convicted about it that I will even use my own funds to do it, because that's the season that God said, listen, get up and do that, and I will just continue to do that because that's how God has directed me to do it. So there was a season. Welcome, thank you for joining. There was a season when I did a lot of community outreach. I remember having a soup stand by Oxford Street, and that's downtown, for those who know downtown, and I ran that soup stand for years. Persons who were homeless, persons who were downtown. I got a blood pressure kit because I learned to read blood pressure very early because my mom had it and she had a kit, and so I learned to read it very early. So I set up a little stand, and others were there as well to cook soup, administer soup every weekend, and also to check persons' blood pressure. Of course, we don't give them medical advice because we're not a doctor, but what we do would recommend that they go and see a doctor, right? But for the no, it was an immediate solution, because sometimes, as simple as it looks, persons didn't eat for days. And within that, it started to open up to contribution, grocery packing, a little this, a little that, dropping off to some elderly people home. And in that moment, in my 20-odd years, and guys, I'm double that now, I saw abstract poverty in Jamaica. So I know what poverty looks like. I felt it for myself, but I also know what it really looks like when people have no hope and they have no place to turn to and they feel desolate. And so that was a season of me giving my energy, my time. And I realized I've done that quite a bit. And there was another season that I went to the prisons, going to talking about, various topics and sharing my experience, uplifting, building. And that was a season. There was another season that I went to Rise Life, and I spoke to women, young girls who were pregnant, and some were having their second child, and maybe they probably didn't even reach 23 or 24 at the time, and they were probably on their second child. So there is a season for everything in your life, and you don't have to try to figure everything out. You don't have to try to complete everything. It's not really our task, and we can't do it all. So what am I saying? I'm saying there is a season that God has given each of us to do what we need to do within that season, right? And there is a season that have come up now in HR, speaking. There's a season that have come up in all of that God has allowed me now to come through that particular conversation, to have, work related conversation, to build a business, connect your dots, to reach out through foundation. Another season of critical illness that God has allowed me to connect with persons who are going through other things that are in life. There was just so many seasons that I've walked through, and I sat and I thought about it today. Okay, sure, that's my daughter. Yes, so I thought about it today, and I realized, just like the message said, because it resonated with me, and I had to just really give God a great shout out and thanks, because sometimes in some messages, the very same thing that you're struggling with, it's the answer that comes. And it says, whatever God has started in you, he will finish. And so in preparation of something to come, because I don't know all the journey that God has designed. If I knew everything out, then I would be a seer. But I don't know that. Honestly, I just know that I'm going down a path that has allowed me to extend the gifts. Because I recognize, how I recognize it's a gift, because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm not doing it to get accolades. I'm not doing it to get likes. I'm not doing it to, oftentimes I'm not even getting paid to do this. This is just the will and just the conversation that I want to have, because I get, a true satisfaction that I'm doing what I was built to do. When persons come and they're connected to God, not connected to me, but connected to a higher source that said, yes, thank you, God, I wanted to hear this message today. It has validated my very existence. I saw somebody commented on another video today. Another sister commented on another sister video. And that for me is just like so breathtaking, because a lot of time we do things, and let me tell you, the truth is that we can't validate ourselves, We cannot validate ourselves. Other persons have to validate the work that we're doing, right? Other people have to validate what we're doing, because we're doing it because we're called to do it, but we're so consumed in the structure, the systems, the focus, that we're just executing, right? We're executing according to what the design is for us, the plan, the purpose. But until it is coming back, and yes, God is the ultimate validator, but on earth, there is something that some of us really want to hear. And when you get endorsed by your peers, and when you get endorsed by people who, come back and say something and comment, you feel real good that you're actually walking in that alignment. You feel really good. And so coming out of worship session today, I felt really positive. I felt really good that I'm going in a particular direction, and that I'm not fearful of where it takes me. If it takes me to a point where people can't understand the choices and dynamics that is at play, then so be it. But it is taking me into a space that God has started a work in me that he will certainly finish. It was not an accident. When you can come to a point and say, you've been through so much, but it wasn't an accident. It's like a divine lineup. When persons are asking you, how do you come back from, nobody wants to talk about them don't have no money. It's an ego thing. Nobody wants to talk about being broke. Nobody wants to talk about not sure or having no hope. But let me tell you something. It's in being real And it's in being authentic to yourself that the most help comes. Because contrary to what people think, I mean, there are fake people running around, but the truth is people want to align with authentic people. People want to see the braveness in people coming out and shining through and being authentic to who you are and to what you have gone through. I'm authentic to say that, you know, there are times when I was fearful. There was times when I was really, really desolate and hopeless because I was not sure what the tomorrow would bring. But I've come full circle understanding and start aligning, right? And of course, a mind transformation also, you know, to understand either way, we don't know what tomorrow brings. So either way, when you get caught up, you still don't know what tomorrow brings because none of us know if we're going to live past this hour. We don't know if we're actually going to see tomorrow. It's not a guarantee thing that we know for a certain. So even the very plans that we're making, which is good to make plans for future, but I'm just saying, in the very plans that we're making for future, there are oftentimes people who don't live to execute that future that there's so beautiful design. And it's so, and sometimes it's so unfortunate, but again, we have to go back to understanding what was the will and purpose of our lives. Sometimes we have to go back to that, you know, because maybe for you particular, or for me particular, it wasn't for me to get a PhD. It wasn't for me to get, you know, something along that line. Maybe that was not my design. And because we think that all designs are the same and think everybody walk the same journey, you think that because some other persons have it, you may need to do it as well. Understand your own journey, understand your own self, right? That may not be your design. A lot of people that I know personally who have completed their masters, or they just bought a new house, and it's like, God forbid, I mean, it's such a tragedy. They don't even get to live a day in the house. They don't get to celebrate and work in this you know, educational pursuit that they spend so much money doing, pursuing, and they just didn't get a chance to live a full life. What am I saying? I'm not saying you're not to pursue your dreams, but understand whose dreams you're pursuing. That's the thing. You might be pursuing other people's dream, other people's effort, and not really aligning your own effort with what you need to be doing, right? I recognize that even with my own kids, that's one of the reasons why sometimes people would wonder, I don't put my kids on social media a lot, even if they have, you know, quite a bit of achievement or stuff like that. I don't, because I want them to be comfortable in their own lane and don't feel like there is a comparison or a competition happening. I mean, I feel good about it. And you know what? If they make some decisions that are not aligning with social expectation, I'm also okay with it too, because at the end of the day, they're living their truth. And I realize that the truth is I have taught them very well to be very mind independent. And so they might take decisions that are not favorable. They might not be one of the children who wants to work for somebody for 40 years. They might want to create their own company and work within that company for the 40 years. You know what I mean? That's their journey. So I just want to say to somebody that, you know, I just coming out of and something just, you know, it always just resonated me. And I say, you know, whatever work that God has started, He's going to finish. So don't be dismayed. Don't feel delayed. Don't feel denied. Because sometimes a lot of time we feel that because we say, what is happening now? You know, am I have to start over? I thought about that. Can I tell you? I mean, a lot of people, this is not my own journey. A lot of people went through critical illness. A lot of people tried to find some stuff. I don't know how I did it. Honestly to God, I don't know how I never, you know, just gave up. But because good support system, good friends, good family, even though, you know, some were far away, but nevertheless, it built in me something that says, you know what, this is a journey, this too shall pass. And so I'm able to connect with pain. I'm able to connect with brokenness. I'm able to connect with feeling hopeless. I'm able to connect with it. But the truth is, I'm able to also show you steps out of it. And it's not just in a in a dreamy, fictional way, it really takes some hard work. It takes discipline, right? It takes some fiscal responsibility, right? To be coming out of a near-death experience where you spend a lot of money, but able to, at the same time, still have a work-life balance that you're able to still fulfill some of your dreams. You know what I mean? It take a fiscal responsibility, it take fiscal discipline. It take a mindset that, you know, I am not staying here. The mindset doesn't come that easy, right? Because every time you're pushing forward, there's always 3 or 4 opposing views that comes to take away that focus. You're pushing, something come and say, oh, what you do, you know, better do that, right? Something come, okay, hi, thanks for joining, right? There's always an opposing view. There's always an opposing view that takes away from the energy that you want to do. The truth is, you're doing something and here comes problem. The problem just sit down on you and then you say, oh God, what am I going to do now, right? So a lot of time, no matter how the AC is on, this is one of the other midlife crises, but we're pushing through. Yeah, I just want to tell somebody that whatever work that I started in you, God will finish. Just be patient. In the meantime, build your toolkit. What does that mean? You remember I told you about the first time I spoke? The first time I spoke about, because I remember signing up for a life coach certification years ago when life coach was not even a familiar thing, right? And I did a whole coaching thing with Coaching Federation, certified coach out of International Coaching Federation in the US. And I did a whole thing with that. And this is why I tell you, you know, whatever God started, he will finish. And that coaching thing evolved into other things that I started to partner with persons doing business. Then I did a whole certification with ILO. And when I was